Do you know, I was thinking the other day about rubbish and recycling and things like that, and I was actually watching a program the other night about rubbish and about landfill and things. So I thought, it's actually amazing, isn't it, that a lot of people don't even think about climate impact. So I thought today I'd do something about that. I thought I'd approach the lesson from a different point of view. So without further ado, let's have a quick look at the palette, show you what I'm using today, and let's get on to this painting.
Time to learn with our friend Clive. So grab your brush, have a great time. And don't forget to click subscribe.
Hello, thank you very much for joining me in the studio today. Okay, so I just want to use a palette knife today. There we go. I'm just going to use a palette knife today. There's a couple of palette knives. I've got some of my thickening agent, which you can find at www.clive5art.co.uk. I've got some Prussian blue, some ultramarine blue, some white, a little bit of black. That's it. That's all the colours I'm going to use today. It really is. Now, I thought I would do a painting with a couple of palette knives, as I said. So if you haven't tried palette knives, then give it a go. There you go. So I'm just going to set my focal point for my camera there. And I'm going to get some thickening agent. Now this is going to thicken up normal acrylics. Normal acrylics, as you can see, if I put some my white with that, you'll see it's going to go quite thick. There you go. I'm going to go quite thick, and that's what I want. I want a little bit of black in there because I want to make like a grey type of colour. Let's get some more white in there. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dip my brush into a little bit of moisture there, just to thin that down a touch. And again, you can see there's a water, just adding a little bit of water. I'm just using a bit of water out of my pot actually. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. I just thickened it up a bit much, and I thought, well, I'm just going to thin it down a bit. I'm going to get a roller paint, a little roller paint, and then I'm just going to bring that across onto the cardboard like that. Again, I'm using cardboard. I want a little bit of this gesso to show through, and you can see that lovely. Hopefully you can see that lovely bit of a mottled effect that I'm getting. So I've just added a little bit more black and a touch of Prussian blue. I think I don't want too much blue. Just a touch of Prussian blue in there, just to blue that up a bit. Ideally, it'd be better for you to use a proper palette for this rather than a wet palette, but just in case you haven't got a wet palette, a normal palette, just use a wet palette like I'm doing. But I want that mottledy effect to come through there. Like that. It's a bit difficult painted at this angle. I'm at a really funny angle actually painting this, but you get the idea. You get the idea. So I want to darken that up a little bit more. A little bit more grey. A little bit more black, I mean, make it into a darker grey. A little bit more grey. Really confusing people now, Clive. I'm just gonna pull down just like that. So I'm using the opposite side of the knife now because I want to put it on the canvas that way. Just because of the camera. A little bit more black maybe. I just want to darken that up. Just a touch, like that. So I was watching this program the other night about recycling, and it was about landfills and things, and it was quite eye-opening actually, because we think that we chuck our rubbish away, we think we're recycling it, but there's a lot of rubbish actually goes into landfill. And we'll imagine newspaper now, newsprint, or any paper actually, on cardboard. They said that it could take up to about 3 to 6 months really for that to just break down and go into whatever it goes into the primeval sludge that it does. It breaks down biologically. So, and then they moved up to textiles and plastics and things like that, and they were saying how long it takes, and some plastics can take literally thousands of years, millenniums, to actually just break down really, and some of them don't even break down. Some of them will never break down. And I found that quite eye-opening, because like a lot of people in the 80s and things, and 70s and 80s, it wasn't really, we didn't really think about getting rid of our rubbish, did we? We were thinking more about, we just put it in the bin and you forget about it, and that's what a lot of people have done over the years, is actually forgotten about things, and it has an impact in the environment, and the polar caps are melting, and it's a nasty state of affairs, because it's going down the food chain, or up the food chain really, because they were saying that a lot of these fibers and stuff that you will get in plastic, when it breaks down, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and just breaks down and breaks down and breaks down, and that gets digested by plankton, and the fish eat the plankton, and bigger fish eat the smaller fish, and we go along, and then what do? We catch a fish and we eat the fish, and comes up the food chain, and before you know it, that plastic is in the food chain, and is causing no end of problems, and the pole caps are melting. It's very eye-opening, in fact, and it shocked me that they actually opened up a waste tip, a landfill tip, that was active in the 70s and 80s, and they dug down, and what it is, they cap it off with like clay, and then topsoil, and then it's just embedded, and basically it's an air-free environment. It becomes an air-free environment then. So, and they said, well, we'll dig down now to see if we can find some of the rubbish that we've thrown away when in the 80s, and see what's there. Let's just do a little of investigation to actually see what's there. And I think they were quite surprised, in fact, to find that they were able to recover a newspaper that had been in the ground for nigh on 30 years, and it hadn't decomposed, and they could still read the newsprint on it. And it was really shocking to the person that was doing the experiment, because he said, well, that should have decomposed within months of going into the ground. But because it was in an oxygen-free environment, then what was happening was it would stop the natural process and the breaking down process of that. And it made me think, how long is this stuff going to be in the ground? You know? And we've got to be mindful now. We've got to act today about global warming, and it's a very frightening thing to think that we're experiencing like storms and fires and things like that, and that's all to do with the polar caps melting and all the ice falling into the sea. And it's something we've got to be really, really aware of, that our actions are going to be about for millennium and generations. And what are we going to be doing? Are we going to, is mankind eventually going to destroy itself? So that brought me on to what I'm doing today, and I'm thinking of painting a melting ice cap, as you can see. So I thought that would be poignant today for me to do this. And I thought that would make a good painting, actually, and it would make a good conversation as well, to say that, you know, let's be aware of our environment. And so that's what I've decided to do today, is paint a frozen wasteland with melting ice caps. A long story, but I got there. That's the reasoning behind my painting today. So let's have a little think. Let's think about wildlife. Let's think about the impact that we're having on the planet, because it's going to be there for generations, hopefully, and our children's children are the ones that are going to really suffer, I think, at the end of the day. And that's not what we want for our family, is it? Whether they're family now or family in the future. So a little bit of thickening gel into this white paint, just to make a snow colour, because I just want to put a bit of snow. This is ice. So I put the blue in just to give it a bit of a background colour. There you go. And I want to thank everybody for becoming members, because I'm doing things like this now. This is a lesson that's been completed via my membership page. So if you want to pop along there, please click in the link in the top corner there, and you will see my lessons in there then. So there's the polar ice caps, and they're all releasing their bits of iceberg into the ground. Into this ground. It's not the ground, it's the sea. But you know what I mean. There you go. Let's just get a bit of stuff there like that, bit of ice there, and bit of ice here and there, and just put some snow, because this is a frozen, broken iceberg. Icebergs are a lot bigger than you think, actually. They grow, they're so deep underwater, they really are. I'm just going to smooth a little bit of this off now. There you go. Bit of ice in the water there, like that. How does that look? It looks cold. It looks cold. It really does look cold, doesn't it? Looks as if it's been snowing. And there you are. And then you can just carry on to do whatever you want to do with this. Let's put another bit of snow there. Could be a bit of floating ice just on the water, like that. There we go. And that's my rendition of a melting ice pack. And I hope you can see what I was trying to accomplish there. Now if you wanted to, you could flick a little bit of paint on there and get some you can flick a little bit of paint on there and get some snow in there if you wanted to, but you play with it as much as you want to do it. And you could put you could paint a penguin or a polar bear or something like that. But there's a little thing you want to do, and to paint it with the children, get them involved, explain to them about global warming, explain to them about ice packs melting, and they most probably tell you a lot more than you know. And don't forget Mr. Wolf there. You can see him on memberships. You need to click on the membership button up there and join me there. And I will see you next time. I hope you enjoy that bit of painting. It was a bit of fun quickly with the palette knife. But in the meantime, I will see you on another Monday's lesson at 7:30 Greenwich Mean Time. Don't forget to click the notification bell and the subscribe button. Thumbs up, comments. There you go. Thank you very much. I'm getting cold. Bye.